Summary of the last class. In our last class, we discussed the correlation of Maya and Ishvara. How Vedanta connects these without falling into duality is very important. This is the special theory that separates Vedanta from other philosophies. We noted how Shakti and Shaktiman, Shiva and Shakti work. They are inseparable and yet they are known as separate. Shloka 49 directly gives the definition of Maya by bringing the theory on non existence and existence. Maya is neither Shunyam nor existence. If Maya is considered to be Shunyam, then it cannot bring any effect. But in the case of Maya, we experience the effect of Maya. If it is not non existence, then it must be Sat, existence. But these are opposite concepts. It cannot be said as existence, as it does not stay in all conditions as Satatma. But there is a state where we experience something beyond Maya and its effects. Therefore, that which is not there in all the three states cannot be said to be pure existence. Maya should be thought of as without existence, but not as non existence. If something is termed as existence according to Vedanta, it should be eternal. It cannot be denied or non existent in any condition. Therefore, our existence is only Brahman, which is Sat. Before creation, there was only Sat. Yet it is not different from Brahman. The power is not different from the person who is holding the power. Sloka 50 explains that Maya is not Sat, not Brahman. We know that only Brahman is existence, and other than Brahman, whatever is there is called as non existence. The beautiful Nasadiya Suktam in Rig Veda is quoted, which says, before creation there was nothing. There was no non existence. There was darkness. This tamas means the absence of any kind of discrimination. Therefore, the indescribable state which remains in that unmanifested state before creation is tamas, meaning that it is yet to be created. This tamas is Maya. We attribute this tamas to existence for the sake of understanding. We associate this tamas with the existence as Brahman Sat. Just as in deep sleep, where we know ourselves, but we are unable to recognize anything, so also, before Sat was there, the existence was there, but there was no manifestation. Therefore, it is indescribable. We cannot say what was there because there is no object that can be perceived and described. We discuss this in an effort to know the reality of creation. Because what was there, what must be there before creation, that must be the truth, the reality. Because after creation, whatever we see is ever changing, undependable. Darkness cannot be known by itself because it has no separate existence. Light is that which supports and which illuminates your knowledge. When you experience the deep sleep state, your cognition is not there, and so you say that it is darkness. Even this darkness cannot be known by itself. It needs Maya, the power of Brahman. It cannot be interpreted as Brahman, existence, or knowledge. So we say this is neither light nor tamas. It is in between. What is in between existence and non existence, light and darkness, that would be Maya, the Shakti, power of Brahman. The 51st shloka talks about the power of Brahman. Here, Maya is concluded as being indescribable. Acharya ji says that if Vedantins say that before creation there was Brahman as Satchidanand, and with Brahman, Maya also was there, then duality comes in. This is solved by stating that Maya is not an existence separate from Brahman, and Maya is non-existence which is again separate from Brahman. Hence, we do not say that there is duality. Only Brahman exists. Maya does not exist as separate. This shloka deals with seeming duality of Brahman and Maya. Shloka 52 explains that when Shakti is increased or decreased, the effect is different. The person is the same. Sometimes our energy fluctuates because the person experiences the Shakti as an object that fluctuates. It is the manifestation of power that changes. The, the Shloka 51 had said that Maya Shakti is identical with Brahman as neither non existence or existence, but it is somewhere in between. This is how it should be understood that only one entity, Brahman, is real. Brahman has this power as Maya to create objects outside and manifest itself outside. Similarly, the Shakti, the original power, does not change, but the Karyam, the manifestation of that is changed. This Brahman has power as Maya to manifest itself, create the objects outside. And so we say Brahman manifests itself. Swamiji concluded with this. Hari Om. Over to Swamiji.
Oh, Hari.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Hari. Shruti Smriti Puranamayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krito Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Namasre Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane Savila Mahamoha Grahagraseka Karmane Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Namo Narayanaya. The discussion was on the connection of correlation of Maya and Brahman. It is said that with Maya there is no chance of duality because Maya is identical with Brahman as Shakti of Brahman. So the power and the man who owns the power is not different and cannot be said are different. Similarly, those are Maya and Brahman and its Shakti Maya cannot be different. So there is no duality considering Maya as the power of Brahman. This was the statement of 51 shloka and 52nd sloka. So now we take up 53rd sloka, number 53rd. Sarvadha shakti matrasya na pridhagganana kvachit shakti karyam tu nevasti vidiyam shakyate katham. The last sloka, the question was asked, when Shakti increases, the power increases, there is difference and increasing work and other things like life and other things increases. So then with that we can say there is a change, a fluctuation, increasing and decreasing of power is there in Brahman. How can we understand that if that is there? When we take the example of a person who is having power, with the increased power, he has more power to work. So that shows there is a change, there is a fluctuation, there is a growing in work and power. Now, in relation with Brahman, in this context, it is said that Sarvada Shakti Matrasya na Prithak Ganana Kochit. And power is now not considered to be independent of that which is holding the power. And nowhere we can consider power is different from the substratum where the power is based, where is the power is working. It cannot be separated. So Sarvadha Shakti Matrasya na Prithak Ganana Kuchit. Shakti Karyam tu naivasti Vidiyam Shakyade Katham. So now, if that is the case, we can't separate power and the man who is having the power or the object which is holding the power. Then why we should think that with this, the difference of power and the working of power, the action of power, anything change, anything there, the second entity comes up, pops up? We don't think that. So Shakti and Shaktiman, Brahman and its Maya is one and the same. Mama Maya Duratyaya. In Bhagavad Gita, at least 3 places, Bhagavan says that Maya is based on me and there is no difference between me and Maya. Now the problem is, if we say there is no difference between Brahman and Maya, then can we say Brahman is equal to Maya? And Brahman and Maya is synonymous? No. It cannot be said like that. Brahman is the substratum, is the adhishtanam of Maya. In that way, it is identical. But when we see from the point of objects, point of creation, Maya is the creator. The power is the creator. Like fire and its burning power. heat. So heat is the feeling of fire. Heat shows that fire is there. Even then we can't say fire is equal to heat and heat is equal to fire. No. Similarly, here we can think like that. Now, before creation, the question again in the 50th sloka, the question was 51 sloka, that the first sloka. The question was, if we consider there is Maya different from Atma, Brahman, then before creation, there is duality. Because Maya is also there, Brahman is there. So Shakti Karyam Naiva Asti. Then before creation, what we can say? Should we say Maya was also there with Brahman? What we should say? Here we use another logic. When there is no effect, no creation of power, we don't say there is power. Because the creation is the indicator of power. So by the creation, we infer that power is there. So when the effect is there, power is there. There, if the bulb is lit, it is giving the light, then the power is there. If but bulb is not giving the light, then there is no power. Similarly, the action, the creation shows the power. Therefore, before creation, the Maya is Brahman only. When the creation comes, we consider the power created this. So, Shakti Karyam tu Naiva Asti. Before creation, there is no effect existed. Then how can you assume that Maya is there? So, Didiyam Shakyate Katham. In that situation, in that stage, how can you say the Maya was there as second to Brahman? You cannot say that. So in what ground we say the Maya was there as second to Brahman? Because there was no creation. Therefore, everywhere in Upanishad it says Brahmava itam ekamasit sadeva idamagra asit atmava idamagra eka asit. So everywhere it says singular only. Brahman alone was there before creation. Sat, existence alone was there before creation. Atma alone was there before creation. So this is what it says. It doesn't say, no, Brahman plus Shakti was there, Brahman plus Maya was there. No. Only Brahman was there. Because in that stage, one should meditate only on Brahman. Maya is not the object of our meditation. This we have to be careful with. Because when we talk about Maya, we may think that Maya is also an object of meditation. No. Our object of meditation of Brahman only. Maya is the effect of that. Of course, the Shakti or power of that we consider as. So, it can be said that inherent force, inherent power of Brahman, this we can say. But still, Maya is not an object of meditation when we think about before creation. So in the stage of moksha, we see only Atma. There is no Maya such. Satya Maya na vidyate. It is said in Mandukya Upanishad. This Maya which creates everything, this doesn't stand in the stage of liberation. So there is no Maya in that stage. So Sarvatha Shakti Matrasya Na Prithak Ganana Kochit. That is what the 53rd sloka says. Sarvatha Shakti Matrasya Na Prithak Ganana Kochit Shakti Karyam Tu Naivasti Dvidiyam Shakyade Katham. So how can you say this? So therefore, before creation and in the stage of moksha, we see only Atma as Atma. There is no talk about Shakti or Shaktiman or Maya or Mayavi, nothing. So this is how we establish the theory of Maya here. Now you see why we talk about Maya and this system, Vedantic system, we talk about Maya. The reason is for the creation. It is only with the creation related to creation. Otherwise, no talk about Maya. There is no need for Maya. In respect to creation, we need to say some energy, some power or something is there. We need material cause, we need energy, we need all the support to establish the creation as we see. Even in physics, we need all this. So wherever we need it, we use it. But it doesn't mean it is ultimate. It is only to understand the creation, the theory of creation. That's all. This we will discuss again in the next chapters like Chitradipam and all other chapters. We will discuss these things again. So the next sloka again, Maya is operation, how Maya operates. Now the question comes, if at all Maya creates the world, the objects, from where it creates? Now if Maya is there in Brahman, the whole Brahman is with Maya, one question can be asked. In which part of Brahman Maya exists? The whole Brahman become Maya or the some part, left side, right side, upside, or where the Maya exists? So this question can be asked. So now the 54th sloka is answer to this question. Na Krishna Brahma Vrittihi Sa Shakti Kindvega Desha Bhak Ghata Shaktir Yatha Bhumau Snigdha Mrityeva Vartate. Na Krishna Brahma Vrittihi Sa Shaktihi. That power, Shakti, Maya, does not operate or does not connect with the whole of Brahman. Krishna Brahma Vritti. It is not there in Brahman, the whole of Brahman, or everywhere in Brahman. Okay, na Krishna Brahma Avritti. Krishna means whole. It's a Sanskrit word for complete. So na Krishna Brahma Vritti Sa Shakti. Then what does it mean? Kintu, but Ekadesha Bhag. It is only partial. In one part of Brahman it exists. Because the whole creation is one part of Brahman. This is a very important point in relation with Maya's theory. Okay. So, though Maya exists in Brahman, it is like identical with Brahman. Still, we don't say Maya is covering all of Brahman. No. Ekadesha bhag. Then why you consider it? So under certain conditions, Maya operates in Brahman. That's all we want to say. So what is that condition? The condition is creation. So under certain condition, when the creation is needed, or when we talk about creation, in that stage, we say Maya operates in Brahman. Okay. You see, it is very easy to understand. When we write something, we use our energy in one hand, right hand or left hand. So we hold the pen, then we write. In the other parts of body, we have the same energy, but we are using only partial energy because we are using only one part of one area of our body and one part of our energy. Similarly, though the Brahman has no parts, it is partless. But when we consider Maya as the Shakti of Brahman, we should understand that the whole Brahman is not covered with Maya, or Maya doesn't perverts whole Brahman. It is partially perverse. So, kintu ekadesha bha. Now, how the example for that, just to understand, Ghada Shaktir yatha bhumau snigdham hridyeva vartate. Now, the pot maker wants to make a pot. He knows I can make pot out of clay. He knows that. So, what he does, he go to a place where he gets a particular kind of clay, soft clay, by which he can produce pots. Though the whole earth, wherever you want to produce pot, you can produce it, because the whole earth, the whole clay has that producing power, right? But what the pot keeper do, he goes to a particular place and collect some clay, special clay, and clean it, make it useful for the pot making, then put some water and then again mix it, make it a paste, then he make pot. So what happened? The snigdham rityeva, the clay which is modified, wet, soft, wet as well as soft. So snigdham ritti, the wet soft clay can be used for making a ghata, making a pot. This is how it happens. So ghata shaktir yatha bhumo. Though the ghata shakti, it means the whole earth can produce, there is the potency of producing pots from the mud, wherever you want, we can produce it. But that is useful, that is only produced when you put some water, pour some water on that and mix it and make it wet and soft, then that is used. Now to bring that Ghata Shakti, this is called the Ghata Shakti. For out of that clay, you need to do these things. So similarly, with all other elements, to produce that Shakti, one has to modify it. So similarly, here also, the Brahman is not completely created, but one part of Brahman is created or seen as a creation as this world. So where the Maya works. Now, for this, some Shastra evidences. Now the other shlokas are from Shastra, quoted from Shastra. So the condition of Maya, condition of Ishvara, how Maya operates, and how the partless Brahman is made many parts. We just do adhyaropa, make it parts just for the understanding. Okay. In order to make the creation theory perfect, we make all the parts like this. So the Veda says in Purusha Sukta, this shloka is there. In Chandogya as well, this comes. Padosya sarva bhutani tripadasya tripadasti swayam prabha ityegadesha vrittitvam mayaya vadadi shrutihi. So the Veda says, Pado asya sarva bhutani tripadasti swayam prabha. This whole creation is just a quarter part of Brahman. Pado asya sarva bhutani. Padosya sarva bhutani tripadasya swayam prabha. The other three quarters, three parts are in its glory, swayam prabha. That is self-revealing glory. It means there no change happened. Only the last, the fourth quarter of Brahman changed into this creation. So this is just, you see, though we can't make Brahman parts, we cannot say the quarter of Brahman, half of the Brahman. You cannot say that. It is impossible to say because it has no form. There is no chance of making any parts there, any separation there. Even then, we make it. Why? Just to understand. Even Veda directly says, this is the famous Purusha Sukta mantra. It says there are four parts. So one part become this creation. Then all the three parts are there in the heaven without change. Swayam Prabha, in its glory it is there. Iti ekadesha vrittitvam mayaya vadadi shrutihi. Thus, Shruti says, ekadesha vrittitvam, Maya covers only one part of Brahman, 1/4 of Brahman. So this is the Shruti Pramana directly. So that we have to accept it. So again, from Bhagavad Gita, the same quotation from Bhagavad Gita. Vishtabhyahamitam krishnam ekamshena stito jagat idi krishnojunayah jagatastvegadeshatam. 56th sloka. The Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, sloka number 42. It says, Vishtabhyaham idam krishnam. Shri Krishna says to Arjuna, Krishno Arjunaya aha. The world is supported by a part of me, a part of mine. Vishtabhya aham idam krishnam. Ekamshena sthito jagat. This is only a quarter of me, that's all. I am bigger than this creation. I am above this creation. I am the substratum of this creation. So Vishtabhyahamidam Krishnam Ekamsena Sthito Jagada. This is the quoting from Bhagavad Gita. The sloka is very clear. Sabhumim Vishwado Vritva Atyatishthadashankulam Vikaravarti Chatrasti Shruti Sutra Kritorvachaha. Again from Shvedashvetra Upanishad, Narayana Suktam, it says, Sabhumim Vishwado Vritva Atyatishthad Dashankulam. The Shruti says, the Supreme Atma, Bhumim Vishwado Vritva, pervading all this world, every side of it, Vishwataha, from all sides. It pervades all sides of this creation. Yet it stands high. It is Atyatishthad Dashankulam. So it stands up. It goes up 10 fingers above. 10 fingers, just a measurement, nothing there, nothing special. Just says it is Dashankulam Atyatishthad. No, above high, how when you say it is above this creation, so how much above? What is the measurement? So just say 10 angulam. It's a measurement, 10 figures. When you put all the fingers together, so it like whatever the two hands connected is called angulam. So angulam means one finger. So 2 finger, 2 angulam, 3 finger, 3 angulam, like that. So at all the type of measurements. So Atyatishthad Dashankulam Vikaravarti Chatrasti. Now, whatever this creation we see, the transformation and manifestation, this is only a small part of Brahman, if we consider like that. Shruti Sutrayor Vachaha. The Shruti, the Vedas and Sutra, Brahmasutras say this. It means it is not my words, this is not my idea, my statement, but I am quoting, I am following the statement of Vedas as well as Brahmasutras of Bhagavan Vedavyasa. So everywhere it is discussed. Therefore, one has to accept that only one part of Brahman is manifesting in this form, and where the manifestation and creation is there in that stage, in that ground, we consider Maya. So this is the important point here. When there is no creation, we don't consider Maya. Again, if we see our the experience of deep sleep, in deep sleep, you see, in deep sleep, there is no creation, right? There is no body, there is no mind, there is nothing. Outside world is also not there. So if there is no creation, then we can say there is no effects of Maya as well. There is no Maya. Therefore, you experience only happiness there, nothing else. In deep sleep, you can't experience pain. Did anybody experience pain in deep sleep? No, never. Nobody experienced pain in deep sleep. Only sukham, only happiness, bliss is the experience of sushupti. Why? Because in sushupti there is no creation, there is no effects and manifestation of creation. Therefore, we don't experience dukkham and its forms. Only bliss is there. So when we experience only bliss, we don't say there is Maya, or we don't say there is this thing, that thing. No. When we experience only our existence and bliss and happiness, then Atma is the only experience. Only with Atma that can happen. If some Maya or some effect is there, then you will see some objects there, some formation of thought, at least some formation of thought. No. Actually, if thought comes, that bliss is disturbed. When you come out of that stage, you can say it is very obvious to everyone that the thought process made all these problems. The thought process makes our pain. Thought process makes our disturbance, everything. So this is how we say that when there is no creation, there is no need to consider Maya is also there. Though we can say, we can assume that, infer that the cause is there, Bijam is there. That the Upanishads also say. Bijam is there, the cause is there, the seed is there. Why we say that? Because again the creation comes. If there is no seed, the next day creation will not be there if there is no seed. So the creation comes again. Again the pains and everything comes back with the full effect of that. Therefore, we can say there is seed, there is bija shakti, but the effect is not there. So when effect is not there, the creation stops. So you experience the pure bliss there. Okay. So now, obviously the question arises, how can you say all these stories in relation with Brahman? You say Brahman is Nirakara, formless, Nirguna, qualityless, and there is no form, there is no name, no action, nothing. And Brahman is completely Sat Chit Ananda, pure, the purest form of Sat Chit Ananda. Then how you make all these stories of Maya with parts and efforts and energy, so and these, that, all this? How can you say this? This is, you are going out of Vedantic theory, it seems. So the question is raised here. Niramshepyam shamaropya krishnam shevedi prichataha tadbhashayottaram brude shrudi shrotruhideshini. This is the speciality of acharyas, and especially Vidyaranya Mahaswamiji here. He knows when he makes a statement, after that what question arises to the listener who reads that. So immediately he takes up that question, that that objection, and answer it. Therefore, when you complete this Pancadashi, you will not have any question, any doubt regarding Vedanta and spiritual sadhana and the objective of spirituality. This is the speciality of this Pancadashi, because he has taken up all the problems, all the objection, all the samasyas, all the contradictions. He has taken all those and answered, and so beautifully, so lucidly he did it, that it reaches to your heart. So now this question normally comes when we talk about Atma's parts and these things. So he says, you see, there was a sloka even before. Chodyam va pariharo va kriyadam dvaida bhashaya. Advaida bhashaya nasti nabi taduttaram. I think you remember this sloka. No, because when we studied Pancadashi, maybe 25 years before, I think, when we studied this, we memorized almost all the slokas, because it was not a weekly class, it was daily class when our Swamis were. So maybe 7, 8, 10 slokas every day we our Guru used to take. So every day we try to memorize those slokas. So after 25 years, some slokas still is there, I remember. And when we repeat it for some time, it will come almost, it will come back. So chodyam va pariharo va kriyadam dvaida bhashaya. When there is question and answer and discussion, it should be, it will be, it bound to be in dualistic language, the language of duality. Okay, we can't avoid, bound to be like that. You cannot ask, if there is no Atma, there is no second Atma, why the listener, why the speaker, and who is there, who is speaking, who is listening? And this cannot be asked, because we know this. When we talk, when we take up any action, there is duality. We have to consider that duality. You cannot deny duality in action. The action always bound to have duality there. So this is already stated. Now again that comes up here. Niramshepi amshamaropya krishnamse va idi prichhata. Somebody is asking this question. When you talk about Maya, you just please tell me that this Maya is there in Brahman, is covering all of Brahman, or it's covering only parts of Brahman. If somebody asks this question as a child, then Shruti or Veda is like mother of all mothers. I know, with so much love and affection, she says, Srotra Hideshini. She's a best well-wisher of the jijnasu, the seeker. If the seeker asks this, then what Shruti does, she makes some parts and then provides the answer. So niramsepi amshamaropya. Niramse api amshamaropya. Though there is no part, there are no parts in Brahman. Brahman is completely partless. Niramse api. Amsha means parts. So niramse api amshamaropya. Having imposed attributed amshas, parts. So there are no parts, but Shruti attributes parts there. Why she does that, Shruti? Tad bhashaya uttaram brode Shruti. Shruti wants to answer in that same language by which the seeker asked the question. The Shruti takes the idea or the mind of the seeker who is asking the question and then answer in the same language. This is the great love of Shruti with all its form. It takes up our questions, our problems, and solves it with our language. So the non-dual Brahman is made dual for the sake of studying, for the sake of discussion. So this is just to illustrate for you. Shruti has taken up this part story, the part story of Brahman, the first part, second part, third part, fourth part, and quarter, and all these it has taken just to teach us. Satatvamashrita shakti kalpayet sati vikriya varna bhitti gada bhitto chitram nana vidham tatha. Satatvam ashrita shakti kalpayet sati vikriyaha. Now Maya making its base on Brahman. Satatvam ashrita shakti. The Shakti as Maya. Now, when we say Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Shiva and its power, Shiva Parvati. So these two parts are there, Shakti, Shiva and Shakti. Now, Purusha and Stri, we say this, feminine and masculine. So like that, this Shakti, the power, makes its base on Brahman. Satatvam asrita Shakti, depending on Brahman. Kalpayet sadi vikriyaha. It creates vikriyaha, many objects of different forms, different characters. Sadi vikriyaha. Varna bhitti gada bhitto. As an analogy, we can say the different paintings, different forms of paintings, objects are painted, created on the wall, bhikti gada. So in that wall we paint many forms, or the canvas, on the canvas we paint with different colors. So without canvas nobody can paint. If you want to paint, you want to draw something, it needs a bhitti, a base. So varnaha bhitti kada bhittau chitram nana vidham tata. This is how Maya does all this. When we see that object, see that painting, the beautiful painting, We are attracted to the colors of the painting, the form of the painting, the objects, what is painted there. But we don't see, we are not caring of that background on which that is painted. So this is the difficulty. So we see only the creation of Maya, different forms of Maya. We are attracted to this and we are enjoying it, of course. But we are unable to see the base, see the substratum, see the canvas behind it, canvas which giving support to that painting, the color to appear. So without that, no coloring is possible. So therefore, that way we say Brahman is always there. So varnaha bhittikadaha bhittau chitram nana vidham yatha. And this analogy we will elaborate it in that sixth chapter of Chitradipa Prakarana. There is one chapter. That chapter, the whole chapter is discussing this analogy of the canvas and the painting. How the canvas is made, then how the painting is made. Similarly, this creation is created. Now, we have discussed the background of creation. Okay, so now the creation starts. Out of this Maya, which is based on Brahman, the first creation comes as Akasha, the space. The space is created. Adyo vikara akasha sovakasha swarupavan akashosti di satatvam akashepyanugacchati. Actually, once we have discussed this point in this chapter only, the difference between space and Brahman, Akasha and Brahman. When we discussed the Shunyam, the non-existence. So there we have discussed this point. What is the difference between Shunyam, Akasha and Brahman? So here it said the first modification of Maya based on Brahman, Adyaho Vikaraha Akashaha. This is Akasha. Now what is the Akasha? So Avakasha Swarupavan. There we have defined it, which gives space to other objects, is called Akasha. Where other objects are situated, which gives room for other objects, space for other objects. That is called Akasha. Avakasha, Avakasha Swarupavan. Now, why we should believe that Akasha is created? How can we say Akasha means space is there? Why should we cannot deny space? Why we should not deny space? If we deny space, we can say there is no space. What is the use of space? So now the second line is applying some logic to make you believe that Akasha is created and Akasha is there. What is the logic? Akasho asti iti satatvam akashepya anugacchati. You see, Akasha is formed from Atma Therefore, we say Akasho Asti. There is space. So in this is, there exists space, or everything exists in space. Now, where everything exists, that is called space. Can we say that where everything exists has no existence? Can we say that? No. Where everything exists must have existence. Without existence, it cannot give space to others. This is very simple logic. Therefore, space exists. Because if space is not non-existence, then how can it give space to others? Okay, if you don't have a room for your guest, how can you share it? You cannot share. If you have a room, you can share. You have space in your house, you can share to others. It is very simple. So you must have it. You must hold it. So if other objects exist, it means the akasha, the space is giving a particular amount of existence to others. Therefore, other objects exist in akasha, in space. So this is how we can define space with some evidence, some proof. Akasho asti iti sadatvam. Akashepi anugacchati. Akashepi anugacchati. So the thing is, as we already have discussed, the long discussion we had about the existence cannot be denied. The being cannot be denied. Therefore, we have to accept the existence of Akasha as well. Nowhere the existence is denied. It is impossible to deny. Okay, so therefore, Akasho asti iti sadatvam is always there. Now, it indicates that the transmission of Brahman, transformation of Brahman into Akasha. So this is a point of debate, that how Brahman becomes Akasha. Is there any becoming of the so-called becoming? Brahman becomes Akasha? Or how Akasha got its existence? If Brahman doesn't transform it into Akasha. You understand my point here? When we say Akasha is created, now what does it mean? What is this creation? Why we say Akasha is created? How it is created? When something is created, there should be a transformation, a change, a transmission of one object, one cause to another form. Like the clay transmitted or reformed into pot. The gold, the raw gold transformed into ornaments. So the transformation holds a different kind of change with its material and things. The question is how Brahman transformed or transmitted into the form of Akasha. So how can we say that? So now you see Brahman Sarupa, by its essential nature, there is nothing that which can be transformed, right? There is no part or something which can be transformed into another form. There's no transformation is possible. Therefore, we say the existence of Brahman, the existence of Brahman is changed or understood as the form of space, Akasha. Okay, so now that part of Brahman become Akasha. So now the Brahman is known as Akasha. This is what the answer given in Brahmasutra. So it says Akasha Rupa Apannat Brahmanaha. No, the Brahman become the form of Akasha when we talk about that creation, particular creation. As we say, the clay becomes pot. Now the clay becomes pot means that that part of clay, that amount of clay which was made ready for the purpose of making pot, that amount of clay become pot. It becomes the form of pot. Correct? So this is how it's changed. So Akasha, when Akasha is created, Brahma becomes Akasha. It became the form of Akasha. Akasha asti. Now how you say that? Say, when that Akasha is created, we say there is Akasha, there was Akasha, now also Akasha is there. So the is and was, all this shows the existence of Brahman in that. Right? This is how we takes up the creation. Now, still that existence is unchangeable. Though we call it Akasha, but the is and was, the existence which indicates the existence, is still unchangeable. It cannot be changed. So then how can you say this become that? So the additional part comes there as Maya, and Maya's Sattva-guna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, 3 gunas, and out of 3 gunas, the formation of Shabda, the sound is produced. The sound, the unaudible sound, the sound of the Sukshma, the subtle form of sound, is not audible. So that sound is produced from the Maya's material cause. So this is how we connect. Now the Asti, the is and was, Akasha is, Akasha was, and all this, that is and was comes from Atma. It is the form of Atma, and the sound of the Akasha, the name is that it is from the Shakti of the power of Brahma. That's also from Brahma only, but in the form of Maya. This is how we say it. Akasha sattvam akashepi anugacchati. So only the Brahman can only give existence to that object which is created, and that existence will continue. So even from space, you can experience Brahman. Now after space, again it comes air. So from air also you can experience Brahman as existence. The existence of air is Brahman only. If air exists, then the Brahman is. So therefore it is said, Egaswabhavam sattva satatvam akasho diswabhavakaha navakasassa divyomni sachesho vidvayam sthitam. It is said in a shloka, the nature of Brahman is existence, Ekaswabhava. Just now what I said. So the existence, the Ekaswabhava. Only one character of Brahman is transmitted into Akasha. That is existence. So Ekaswabhavam satatvam. Satatvam means astitvam, existence. But Akasho diswabhavaka. But Akasha becomes diswabhavaha. It got two natures, two forms. Diswabhavaka. What are they? Now only one swabhava Akasha got from Brahman. From then how the second swabhava, second character came? Second nature of Akasha, Dviswabhavaka. So Brahman is spaceless, but Akasha has both the space and existence. This is the difference. Brahman has no space. In Brahman, we won't say space is there in Brahman. But when it transforms into the form of Akasha, Akasha has two forms. One is existence and second is space. And its quality is sound. That comes from Maya. Okay. So now this particular form, this particular point is extremely difficult to understand and logically accept. Because if somebody asks how the existence can change into form of space, so this has no answer. Because the reason is the existence is the experiential part of Brahman, which we all have the experience. You got the point? It's very important. Because Akasha has two forms. One is existence and second is space. Right? Now out of two, Brahman has given Akasha existence. Because only Brahman can give existence. Brahman is as a single form. It is one swabhava. Only existence can be transmitted to transformed to Akasha. So that existence, we already know, we have discussed it very detailed in that existence is our experience. So we can believe that Akasha has existence. That's okay. That is acceptable. But the other form, now the space, now we don't have any experience of vacuum vacuum space, the space without objects. And this part of space is connected to physics. This is not the experiential part of Brahman. So when you experience Brahman, or when you experience your own existence in deep sleep, you only experience existence, but you don't experience space there. Do anybody experience that? Does anybody experience space in deep sleep? No. So now you see the difference. You can see the difference. You experience only Brahman within you, because Akasha cannot be experienced within you, because Akasha is a different object, different manifestation, which is not the essential part of yourself. Therefore, you can't experience it. The existence, I am. So this I am, the existence, is essential part of you, because it is the character of Atma. You can only experience Atma. You cannot experience space, air, or anything like that. It cannot be the experiential part of existence. So therefore, this is how the difference comes. Navakasha sadivyomni sachesho vidvayam sthitam. So the Akasha has both the space and existence. Therefore, it is with two characters: existence plus space. Now when air comes, it will have one more: existence, space, and touch. So again it will take one more. So therefore, and the action is also there in that. And whatever added into existence, you can understand that all that are the material part of manifestation, the physical part of manifestation, that cannot be a part of your experience. It cannot come into your experience, into our own experience, when we take off deep sleep as our core experience. So in deep sleep, there is no experience of space, there is no experience of air, there is no experience of fire, there is no experience of touch, there is no experience of any action, so-called actions, because those are the material part of that. Therefore, I said you have no experience of Maya in your deep sleep, because these all are the manifestation of material cause, Maya. So Maya cannot be the experiential part of your coexistence. Maya is material, therefore it is outside of you. It is apart from you. It can be connected with the awareness, with the objectification, but it never be your part of experience. Right? This is how the material world become a second entity. It is different from you. Whichever you can't experience is different from you. You can't experience others' happiness. You can't experience others' pain. You can't experience others no enjoyment and love and all those forms others which they experience. You can only experience what is there within you as essential and nature of you, that is existence. For the this time we can say existence and consciousness, bliss, all this. But in this discussion, existence is the only part of that. So existence is experience, but other part is not experience. So this is very, very important point of discussion in regard with the creation, how the created objects are different, become objects become different from you. What is the reason? That is described here. That is was the discussion. So you all think about this, contemplate on this. If you get this point clearly, then you know how you yourself is creating the world, and yet you don't understand the world. You will see the difference. Okay? Hari Om. Today we won't take up questions because I have some other engagement. Okay. So if you have any particular question, please send to the group. I will check it and answer. Sorry for inconvenience. Thank you. Hari Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.